Eyes down for the
Good afternoon, people. It's 2:30 and we've been doing some commando gardening at my mum's house. We got it mostly done and the heavens opened and we all got wet. But we've once again cleared most of it. He said walking under a tree and getting dripped on. We've cleared most of it. That's the hedgehog pile in there. That's the hedgehog house that we've just re-roofed with some more twigs. But it's looking good. It's looking good. So we'll maybe do a bit more, and we maybe won't, because everything's absolutely soaking wet now. Right, we've taken down an old buddleia tree there. And then later on today, or it might be tomorrow now, it's back on the tractor. So I'll see you all then. Bye now. And here we are, folks. I've made it back to the workshop, but it's 4:23 and I'm calling it a day because I'm absolutely knackered. We got the gardening done. We got broken off twice because of rainstorms, but we've got it done regardless. I've got a bit damp. Right, tomorrow first thing I'm going to do is put a coat of paint on that, or a couple of coats of paint on that. I shall put one coat on, let it tack off, and then put another one on, because then once that's in blue I can put the seat on, then I can drive it. Put the seat on. Second thing to do, put the radiator on, put the battery back on, and then get it off the axle stands, get it started up. Oh, get the tank back on, of course, put some diesel in it, get it started up. And then if it's fine, which it isn't going to be, it's going to rain all day tomorrow, so I probably won't get it outside tomorrow, but we'll have to see. It's looking like it's going to be a really wet week, so I might not get it done tomorrow. We'll see. But I'm too knackered now, and I'm going home. So for Monday, that is it. Bye now. Afternoon all. Tuesday, not feeling too brilliant, but I managed to lever myself out of the chair and get myself here, and we're putting the radiator together, ready to put it on. I've got the cowl on. I found some nice little matching bolts to put it on. I'm just about to make 2 rubber pads for it to sit on. It sits on rubber pads, don't bolt it straight to the chassis. It sits on little rubber mountings on those mounting holes down there. So that's what we're going to do next. Right, so I've just finished getting this together now. Cut these pads out and then we'll fit it. And then fit this top bracket with some nice washers and bolt that onto the thermostat housing. And there we go. I was contacted today by a man from Redcar who is also rebuilding a Fordson Major and is short of some axle bolts, front axle bolts, if anybody's got any. These, now then, these are a strange bolt. They are 1-inch UNEF, right? Unified extra fine, and they're obsolete. So what I'm going to suggest to him is that he fits 1-inch UNF standard bolts and nuts, and they will do the job. But I've had a look around and I'm having trouble finding some, but I'm sure some nut and bolt suppliers somewhere will have some in 1-inch UNF. It's not hard to get hold of. I suppose they've used an extra fine thread to get more, just so they stay tight, so they can be pulled in really tight. But there you go. Right, I shall crack on. See you in a minute. Folks, 4 o'clock and there she is. Rubber mountings under here, and then there's a 9/16 bolt with a spring underneath it and a castellated nut with a spring washer underneath, with a split pin underneath, which is very sod to get in. Then you've got the little bracket on the top here that fixes to the thermostat housing. So that's all on. I've got my bottom hose on. I'm just working on the Jubilee clips for my top hose, and I've got my fan belt on. But I'm not going to put the new alternator on until I've new Dynamo on until I've done the setup on the bench and see if I can sort the cutout box out. So I'm going to carry on with this again, get the Jubilee clips on the top hose, and then we're beginning to come together. I gave the radiator core a good washing, power washing, to get all the muck out. We did it with some detergent first and then started to power wash it, and as I started to power wash it, all sorts of barley horns and calf and all sorts came out of it, so it was ready for doing. I've also flushed it through in the inside as well, but I know it's a good rad because I had it reconned when I first got the tractor. So there you go. Right, onward. I'll bring you back if I do anything more interesting today, but it's 4 o'clock already because I was a lazy swine this morning and didn't come into work early. Okay, bye now. There we are, folks. She's all on and hosed up. I've just got to put there's a little guard goes on that side from there, which I should have put on first because one of the screws is underneath so I can get to it. And there's a guard similar, I think. Yes, there's a similar guard on this side, which just goes around the Dynamo belt, but I haven't got one of those, so what I'll probably do is I'll have a look at some plans, some pictures, and I'll make one of those. There's still calf and dust coming out of this radiator. I've just at last found my proper blowgun and given it a right good blowout, and I don't know if you can see that all over the fan blades there, but look at it. That's all out the radiator cord. So it's still not ultra clean, even though it's you can see through it nice now. Right, Tuesday's done, folks, because I've got to go up to Keith's because his boiler's not working. So off we go on a boiler mission. Right, I might take you with me. I'll see you later. Bye now. Wednesday, and I'm just getting ready to paint that section there, and also probably this because it's going to get overspread anyway, but mainly I want to paint that so I can put the seat back on, and paint this area so I can put the tank back on. So I've degreased it, cleaned it down, wire brushed it, blown it out as much as I can. It's all underneath the tank anyway, it's just cosmetic, so it doesn't really matter, but that does need painting under there so I can put the seat back on, put the tank back on. We've got the radiator finished. That's gone on really nicely. I'm pleased with that. I've got bits to do to that, but first I want to get this paint clapped on so that it's drying, so I can get at least 2 coats on, maybe 3, and then we'll go from there. We will then go from there. Get it off the axle stands, I suppose. Get it off the axle stands and get ready to start the engine. So I need the tank back on. Right, off we go. And there we go, folks. Seat back on. I'm just putting this bracket on, which is the tank mounting, and then I am going to fit the tank. Just got the all that back on. That's looking good. Picked up a bit of blue paint on the rubber bumper, but never mind. But there she is. So we're becoming, I hope today we'll become drivable. So there you go. Anything else to show you? No? Right, and now I'm going to have a cup of tea. I've had a bit of a tidy up, and I shall continue doing that as well. So I'll bring you all back in a bit. Bye now. Good afternoon, folks. It's beginning to look like a tractor again. The seat's on, the tank's on, the fuel's connected up, the return is connected up, fuel return. My new fuel cap has arrived at Driffield, I think, and it looks like we're about there. So the next thing I'm going to do is to start to set up on the bench for the test, so that I can test the cutout box and see what's wrong with the charging circuit, because really it was the only thing that I never managed to fix on this tractor. Everything else got done. Right, there we go. Doesn't that tank look nice? You can see the repair, but I don't care. It looks a lot better than it did with a massive dint in it. And I've got the back of the dashboard back on as well. So we're progressing apace now. Apace. I'm going to have to look them up on the internet, but there's lots of these little metal wiring clips. These. Okay, can I hold that against the light coloured? Yes, these things. I've got to find some of those on the internet, because I need quite a few of those, because they're all rotten. And I've got little holes all over the place where they go, so there we go. Right, I'm now going to have a cup of tea, and then I'm going to come back, and I'm going to put that guard on, and then we can continue. We can continue. Rightio. Doesn't that look good, eh? Doesn't that look good? Right, cup of tea time, folks. I'll bring you back in a bit. Bye now. Right, folks. Wednesday, 5 o'clock. We have a cutout box. We have an ammeter. We have a light switch and ignition switch. We have a horn, which works when you press the button. We have a dynamo, and we have the two connections to the dynamo. I need an earth to go from there to the chassis connection. And I have, what do you call it? Initiated the dynamo. It's not initiated, is it? I've sparked. Polarised. I've polarised the dynamo by sparking the live, which is in this case is the negative, because most dynamo vehicles are positive earth. So you take a negative from the battery and you pop it onto there and hold it on there and pop it off with a spark until you get a nice big fat spark on it, and then you've polarised the dynamo to work positive earth. You can also polarise it to work negative earth, but it needs a little bit of residual magnetism in the dynamo to start it charging, right? And you get that by creating a very small amount of magnetism in the steel poles of the dynamo. So here we are, ready to go. Unfortunately, it's 5 o'clock. So what else have we got? I'm going to take that off now so I don't burn the workshop down. Right? I found out, by the way, that this light switch is faulty, so the first job tomorrow is to strip that down and clean the contacts and rebuild it if I can. I think I can. Other than that, we're charging towards a finish. I've had a tidy up in order to set us up on the bench, and I've had a sweep up and all that muck's come up. So there we go, folks. We're charging towards a finish. Look at that sophisticated fuel tap. Isn't that nice? Right. Okay, so that's it for Wednesday. The paint looks good. And I'll pick my fuel cap up and with any luck, I'll be able to start it up tomorrow and drive it outside. Put some water in it, of course. But other than that, all the engine's ready to go now. Oh, I'll have to put some fuel in it. I'll have to bleed it. I might actually change the fuel filter while I'm on, because I've got a new fuel filter for it. So I might actually take that off and put a new fuel filter in it. I may as well, hadn't I? Do that before I put the fuel in the tank, and then bleed it through. And then we're ready to drive it outside, power wash it off, and bring it back in, take the back wheels off, take the back mud guards off, like I said I was going to do about 4 weeks ago. God, I'm such a slack git, aren't I? Right, see you all tomorrow, people. Bye now. Good morning, people. Thursday. And after a swift tidy up and a clear out with the back of the tractor, I've put my new fuel cap on, which is excellent. And I've put that little guard plate on, which keeps people's fingers from getting chopped off. And now, having drawn a little diagram of the switch, I'm about to strip the switch. And the first thing I noticed, look at that. It's got a little bayonet cap fitting at the side to strip the switch down, with 3 pins in it. Isn't it a pity we don't make anything like this anymore in Britain? Anything like of this quality. And it's made by W and B by the look of it, but I shall look into that and I shall find out when I clean it up. Right, I'm going to now do the deadly thing and remove the top and watch all the springs and contacts fly out, and then see how I have to get it back together. The tea is on the go. Right, bring you back in a minute. There we are, folks. No wonder it wasn't working. It seems to be full of tar, whereas it should be full of a very fine coat of Vaseline. So what I'm going to do is, all the springs are intact, what I'm going to do is clean this out and rebuild it with some Vaseline in it, and as I do it I shall show you how it's done. Okay, bring you back in a minute. Bye now. And what a clever piece of contact work that is. The springs are captive inside these little tubes with plungers on them, and the whole thing is made out of 2 pieces of brass with bent over tags, so if necessary you could strip the whole thing down. Isn't that clever? Isn't that clever? Pity we don't manufacture this quality of stuff today. Last forever. Right, I shall put it back together. It's even designed in such a way that it can't be assembled wrongly. Brilliant. Right, so there's our 2 sets of contacts, and there's our contact plate. So I'm going to put it back together now and see if it works. Right, bring you back in a minute. Right, folks, a lightning demonstration. It's all working. So we've got, to the left is side lights, in the middle is off. Then we've got dipped headlights, main headlights, side lights. There we go, on. So what I've got to do now is spin the generator and see if it's charging. And I'm now going to shut you down, and I'll bring you back if I can make any sense of it. Bye now. Oh, for Christ's sake. Good afternoon, folks. As you might be able to see by the electrical mayhem on the bench, I'm in a bit of a quandary. I don't know what's going on. Here is my brand new Dynamo. Here is my brand new Dynamo connected between D and F, connected together to a voltmeter. Positive earth from the voltmeter to the chassis of the Dynamo. Spin the Dynamo up, no voltage. Run the Dynamo as a motor, Dynamo runs perfectly. I have polarised it many times, and yet it will not output any voltage at all. I'll give you a quick demo and show you what I'm doing. Electric drill, wire brush. No voltage. And of course, I have tested the voltmeter. The voltmeter reads 12 off the 12 volt battery. I've also substituted the voltmeter, and it makes no difference. I've got the rest of it. The rest of it is now working. Just put it down. Just put it down there, and I assume you can see there. Right. Let's move that meter. It's not being used. There's the side lights. Off. Dip beam. Main beam. So that's working. The ammeter's working now. I've pulled the ammeter to pieces and fiddled with it until it wasn't catching anywhere. So that shows a healthy discharge now, and then goes back to the middle. When it's upright in the dashboard and it's with slight vibrations with the engine, it will work perfectly. The cutout box isn't even in the circuit. Right? What we should, I mean, the first basic check you do, this is going back some, but the first basic check you do with a Dynamo generating system is to check there's some output from the Dynamo, which you do by connecting D and F together, putting a voltmeter on and starting the vehicle. And yet this Dynamo is brand new, and I have polarised it. It doesn't output anything. Even the old Dynamo I took off outputs about 12 volts, although it should be more. But this is weird. I am in a quandary. I think I'm going to have a tidy up and a cup of tea and have a think about it. Because my idea was, of course, let's just turn you up so you can see me. My idea was check the output from the Dynamo and then use the output from the Dynamo with voltmeters to set up the cutout box, to check the cutout box is working, and then check that the circuit is charging and put the whole thing back in the vehicle, in the tractor. Right? I even have a home button. I've come to the conclusion that if I'm going to mess about, if I'm going to start the tractor up and take it outside, I have to block up the hole in the cylinder head where the water gauge goes. I have to block up the oil pipe for the oil pressure gauge. I have to do all sorts of things, and I thought, well, by the time you prat about, you may as well just get the electrics working and put them back on the vehicle and carry on from there. And I thought, well, yeah, I'll do that. So I started doing that, of course, and fail at the first hurdle. I've also thought of an alternative. I've also thought of a crafty alternative. I have here a sheet of plastic. This is doubled over. Right? If I open that out underneath the tractor, lift it up at this end, and let it drop into a tank at that end, I can actually pressure wash it off, although not too violently, but I can actually pressure wash it off inside. I could even roll it nearer to the doors, although it seems madness. No, you see, I wanted to get the pressure washing done today and bring it back inside, take the wheels and mud guards off, because my sandblaster man is in on Friday morning at his factory, and I can drop them down to him Friday morning. Well, it's obvious I'm not going to be able to do it now, because he doesn't. He works very early, and on a Friday he has a lazy day where he finishes off a bit of sandblasting at work and then goes home about 2 o'clock. And it's my drop-off day, so I'm obviously not going to get that done today. So I'm going to persist with this wiring, because I may as well put it back on, or at least put most of it back on, because I need to wash the engine down and then paint it. So I won't put the loop around the engine on, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Right, I'm going to persist. I'm going to persist with this wiring and get it done. But I've got everything else is piped up. I'm going to change the fuel filter before I put the fuel in. But at the moment I'm stuck with the electrics. So there you go, what a pain. Any suggestions? Gratefully received. but I have polarised the dynamo in the... Well, that's it folks, it's the end of a frustrating day. The first thing I'm going to do tomorrow is tidy this bloody bench up. I'm going to take the manual home and have a read of it, but good grief, dynamo systems. I used to do nothing but dynamo systems in the 70s. Alternators were only just coming in. And one of the many jobs I used to have to do in the 70s that came to me at least once or twice a week was somebody who wanted a stereo fitting, even a stereo 8-track fitting. And of course the problem with the stereo 8-tracks was that they were all negative earth, and most cars in those days were positive earth, and I had to change them over, which was very simple. You had to swap the coil leads, you had to take the small connection off there, and you had to repolarise the dynamo, and then you fitted the stereo, reconnected the battery with some new terminals so that the negative now went to the chassis and the positive went to the dynamo, and off it went. Never any more problem. I must have done bloody dozens of them. And yet, here it is, brand new alternator, won't charge. Old alternator has a voltage output, but doesn't charge, although that could be the cutout that's faulty. But this dynamo should have an output of about 30 volts, about 28-30 volts, according to the manual and according to what I remember from the 70s. And it doesn't. It's got an output of about 15-20 volts. Right, so there you go. So I'm going to take the manual home and have a read up tonight. And I'm going to have another go in the morning, and if I'm not getting anywhere in the morning, I'm going to jump off a bridge. Right, okay, so that's it for today folks. I'm shutting down, I'm going home, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye now. Tractor. Friday, frustration abounds, but I believe I've just got somewhere. This is the old dynamo. The old dynamo works of a fashion. It's got an output, but it's not good. And I've just stripped it down and found out that one of the brushes is stuck. So I'm going to... what's that? It's one of those fuzzy balls of butterfly thingy. What's it? Right, I'm going to just give this a quick service, clean it up, put it back together, and see if it then generates properly. Because it is generating a voltage, but it's not very good. And I've just found out that one of the brushes is stuck, so I'll rebuild this and bring you back. Frustration still abounds. Bye now. And just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, folks, I was just looking for a little job to do before I have to go back to Driffield, because it's my daughter's prom today, or this evening, and so I have to go back to Driffield to get her sorted out and make sure she gets off alright, and do various jobs like take pictures of her in a very proud fashion. And I thought, what little job can I just do for the last sort of half hour? I'll change the fuel filter, because we've got a clean tank, clean lines. I've already serviced and cleaned this, so I thought I'll whip the fuel filter out. And then I thought, no I won't, because there isn't one in it. And look at all that rust and shit in there. Oh dear me. Right, let's clean it out and put a new fuel filter in. Let's try and end the week on a high note. I've tried everything with this dynamo. I can't get any output out of it at all. That one's outputting 16 volts now, which is not enough. But that's a very old dynamo. I've just checked the brushes. One of the brushes was stuck. I've unstuck the brush, I've rebuilt it, cleaned the com, put it out, and it's gone up from about 13 volts to 16 volts, so I've got some improvement there. But this one is zilch. Right, clean the filter, put it back in, and off we go. Bye now. I kid you not, folks, that is the contents of the oil filter. fuel filter. It's unbelievable that an engine that could be sitting in the bottom of the fuel filter and the engine could be starting and running really well. You can't believe it, can you? You just can't believe it. Look at the state of that. It's just sludge. Right, we'll clean it out and we'll do the whole lot, I think. Clean out the fuel pipes and everything, blow back the fuel pipes, take the fuel pipes off again, blow them out, and we'll do the whole lot. Although I've done it before, I've done all the pump and everything. Right, okay. Right, well, I hate to end on a pessimistic note, but there you go, it's the end of the week, it's Friday, and I'm just about getting ready to go back to Driffield. So, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, welcome aboard to all my yet more new subscribers. Clang, went the spanner, and I'll see you all next week. Okay folks, bye now.